Hey everyone, and welcome to Balrog's Game Room, where today we're gonna relax for a bit. So as most of you know, there's a new toy line in town that's been getting all kinds of attention from Nintendo fans, kids, eBay enthusiasts, called Amiibo. Their premise is simple. They're toys that learn how to fight in Super Smash Bros. Through battling CPUs, yourself, or other players, and will eventually learn how to fight through the experiences that you teach it. Along with that, they can net you coins or items, and even unlock exclusive content for other games such as Mario Kart 8 or Hyrule Warriors. Oh, and they're pretty well made too, despite the plastic keeping some in place. These things can definitely take a few trips down a flight of stairs. Oh no, too many stairs! That was too many stairs! Now that's all fine and dandy, but even though the concept seemed simple at first, it was still kinda hard for me to wrap my head around it. I mean, what are their limits? Does it really learn everything that I do? Does Marth really look as stupid as he does in those Reddit pictures? We've all seen him by now. Murph. Well, I decided to run a couple of experiments with these things. Some very constructive, some undeniably evil. And today I'd like to share some of my experiences with you, and hopefully that'll answer some of your questions. So welcome my friends to my Thoughts On series, where I go over my 2 cents on any gaming topic in the industry. And today's topic is, if Amiibo are really worth buying. The answer's yes. Okay, so I'll start with when I got Smash Wii U and my Amiibo. Before trying any other modes, I decided to register them in my Wii U first, which Nintendo made really easy by the way. There's an Amiibo tab in the Games and More menu, where you plop your Amiibo on the NFC thing on your gamepad, and BAM! Within about 20 seconds I had an Amiibo installed, so the process was about 2 minutes for the first 4 that I bought. Next up, I went to Smash Mode and started experimenting with my first Amiibo, Pikachu. I pretty much spent the next 2 hours fighting him non-stop and leveling him up, which was not what I expected. At level 1, I was completely destroying him. By level 20, I was starting to have a bit of trouble winning all the time. By level 30, he was winning most matches, and by level 50, he was 15 stocking me in a 25 stock match. Now please remember that I'm a casual player, so I'm not exactly the best smasher in the world, but I can usually beat level 9 CPUs with ease. But this thing became way stronger than any CPU I have ever seen. The crazy part to me is that Nintendo was right. This thing was actually learning how I play. I have a tendency to dash attack a lot, so my Amiibo would just jump over me or just grab me when I tried. I usually don't use my shield very much, but my Amiibo used it all the freaking time. He even figured out how I like to recover from stages and started edge guarding me. So it got me thinking, what else can this thing do? So I decided to push it to its limits. First off, I tried teaching Pikachu how to taunt after KOing someone. Now I know some people got this to work online, but my Amiibo did it like once or twice, and after a while, just stopped doing it at all. I tried this for a few hours too. Then I tried teaching another Amiibo how to teabag. Also didn't work. Then I just tried to do nothing but run around the stage. Once again, I got nothing. After a bunch of these tests, I came to the conclusion that Amiibo mostly learn techniques that it thinks are beneficiary in battle. In other words, if it doesn't think it'll help it win, the Amiibo probably won't retain the trait. It's kind of a bummer if you wanted one that just acts like a dumb jerk, but luckily you can make him a jerk by just making him insanely good, so that's something, I guess. Now, I'll admit, after I trained this first Amiibo, I almost gave up on the toys entirely. After my failed attempts at making an Amiibo really weird, I thought they'd all just end up playing the same. So in a fit of anger and wanting to get as many coins and trophies out of this thing as possible, I decided to train one against nothing but CPUs. At first, the level 9s were wrecking him, of course, but once again, by level 50, it was always the victor. After that, I tried 8-player Smash with it. Once again, won a 25 stock match by a huge amount of lives. But then for a final test, I put it in a 1v3 match with team damage on, and the Amiibo lost. I tried like 10 times to see if it learned new things, but it would almost always lose with the same amount of KOs. So it seems that in this kind of battle, the Amiibo reached its limit. But then I put items on high and chose the gamer stage to see if that make a difference, and he won? So I guess it really just depends on the situation. Anyway, after about a day of this CPU fighting, I tried fighting it, and unfortunately, I lost by about the same amount of lives, which didn't really tell me that CPU training makes more of a difference than normal training. However, for one more test, I pitted the Pikachu I trained and the one trained by CPUs in a 25 stock match, and Pikachu destroyed. So long story short, it seems that Amiibo only reach their true potential when they fight human players, and that I guess I suck at Smash a lot more than I thought I did. So after quitting out so these 2 Amiibo don't remember fighting each other, next on the list was the ally Amiibo, Peach. Now this is where things get interesting. You see, when you fight against Amiibo, they learn how to beat you, but when you team up with an Amiibo, they learn how to play just like you. Well, most of the time. Eventually Peach was getting way more KOs than me and essentially became a better Smash version of me, and it was super cool to see a toy emulate my fighting style. After this, I tried fighting her, and go figure, I lost by about the same amount of stock again.
but what intrigued me was that when I had Peach fight my sparring amiibo, Pikachu, they were about evenly matched. So from what I saw, they both had very different playstyles, but seemed to be on almost the exact same level of skill. It's not really conclusive evidence or anything, but at least that's what it looked like to me. Which brings me to my last amiibo. Now with Kirby, I really didn't know what to do with him. Maybe expose him to CPUs, team battles, and smash battles? Well, at this point I was really sick of playing, so I just left him in a 99-minute match with my character repeatedly running off the edge. But when I came back the next morning, the results kinda shocked me. The amiibo of course didn't run off edges like I did, but he became a super defensive player that shields and strikes at just the right moments. But what's even weirder is that I beat the crap out of this guy in a 25 stock match, but when I did a 4-player battle royale with all 4 of my amiibo, he freaking won! So all that work training other amiibo for hours was all for nothing. To get the best kind of amiibo, all you have to do is expose him to nothing but death. Over and over and over. 1,192 times to be exact. So yeah, in the end, I don't really feel like I learned anything. Oh well. Anyway, in conclusion, I really feel like amiibo are worth your time. Each figure lets you choose a new strategy to give them, and it's fun to see how it tries to adapt to your fighting style. Even though you don't get your desired result half the time, it is pretty cool to see what happens. Now you're probably thinking, if there's a limited amount of ways to teach an amiibo, why would people want to collect them all? Well, with each character you get, their interpretation of your style becomes different since every character has different movesets and strengths. For instance, a Kirby amiibo may just shield roll a lot to protect itself, but a Marth amiibo may just use his counter move a lot. There's a seemingly infinite amount of things you can do with a different amiibo, and depending on the amount of fighters you want, you'll see how many you really want to buy. Not to mention, it's Nintendo merch, of course everyone wants it, especially since some of these series almost never get any merch. Of course, I want them all.
You know, something just hit me. If these amiibo are supposed to be like the Smash trophies in the game, doesn't that make me Master Hand?